Hey, good day. Bill Bergfield here, and I want to talk about a situation that I personally experienced, and I think I've helped a lot of people work through this. There was a time in retirement where I felt like I still didn't know if I'd done enough, to live the retired life that I'd worked hard to enjoy. I said those exact words to my financial advisor just the week before I retired the second time. And I want you to know something. I'm now 74 years old. I'd retired once when I was 40 because I thought I was mature enough, thought I knew enough, and I thought I had enough funds in my portfolio. Well, I made lots of mistakes financially and was back at work at age 43. I reset my plan and I felt I could retire a second time at age 70, but I was terrified because of my previous catastrophe. So when I was thinking about retiring at age 70, I still didn't know if I'd done enough to live the retired life I'd worked hard for 40 years to enjoy. If that sentence sounds familiar to you right now, stay with me because I'm 74 today, like I said, and I want to tell you what I learned on the other side of that fear. Here's what nobody tells you about retirement anxiety. It's not really about the money, honestly. It never really was. I mean, well, yes, the numbers matter. We'll get to that. But what kept me up at night wasn't a spreadsheet or the numbers. What kept me up at night was the deeper question that I just couldn't seem to shake. And here's that question. What if I get out there and I've got it all wrong? I built my whole identity around my veterinary profession, around providing, around being the person who handled things, and suddenly I was supposed to just stop and trust that everything I'd done was enough. Folks, that's not a math problem. That's a faith problem. Faith in yourself, faith in your own decisions. And nobody had coached me on that part. So here's what I changed for me personally. And I want to be honest. This didn't happen overnight. About 3 months into this retirement, I was still anxious, still checking the accounts, still doing the math in my head at 2 o'clock in the morning. My wife finally sat me down, and here's what she told me. This is important. You retired from your job, but you forgot to retire from your worry. She was right. And that's when I realized, folks, that I had been asking myself the wrong question. I kept asking, have I done enough? But really the right question, the one that actually finally brought me peace, was this one. Do I really know what enough looks like for me and my family? Because enough, folks, enough is different for everyone. And until I got specific about what my retired life actually should look like, what it should maybe cost, I was just chasing a number that kept fading, kept moving. Let me share 3 things that finally broke through that anxiety for me. I call them the anchors that changed my mind. Anchor number 1. I sat down and wrote down what my retired life would actually cost. Not what I thought it would cost, not what I feared it might cost, but what it would actually cost. I sat down not with a financial planner, folks. Forget that part. Just me and a legal pad. And I wrote out every single thing that I spent money on in every month. Everything from coffee to utilities to medications, gifts for the grandkids, the horses, entertainment, everything. And you know what I found out? My real number was significantly lower than the scary number I'd been carrying around in my head all this time. Fear inflates everything. Reality is usually more manageable than the story we tell ourselves. Once I had my real number, not my fear number, I could actually measure whether I was okay. And I was. Most of you watching this will find the same thing. Believe me. Anchor number 2. I separated my needs from my wants. And here's the important part. I gave myself permission to have both. Here's something I got wrong for years. I treated my retirement savings like it only existed to cover my needs, my necessities. So every time I thought about taking a trip or doing something fun, I felt guilty, like I was stealing from my own future. But that money, I saved it for a reason. The reason was life. It was this life, the one I'm living right now. So I split my thinking into two buckets. Bucket number one covers everything I need: housing, food, health care, utilities. Bucket number two, the things I save for: my experiences, my travel, helping my grandkids, enjoying life. The moment I stopped treating bucket two like it was irresponsible, a huge weight lifted from my mind. Anchor number three, I gave worry another container. This one sounds simple, but it was maybe the most powerful for me, and even now it's the most fun. I gave myself one day a month, the first Saturday of every month, to look at my accounts, review my numbers, check in on everything. That's it. One day, no more. The other 29 days, 30 days, not my job. If a worry crept in on a Tuesday night, I'd tell myself, Saturday, we'll look at it Saturday, first Saturday of the month. It sounds almost too simple, folks, but it taught my brain that the finances were handled. They just had a specific time to be reviewed. The anxiety stopped. It stopped the bleeding into every single day. Yep, right now I'm 74. I've been retired now the second time for really just 2 years. And I can tell you, the life I have today, it is the life that I worked for. Not because everything is going perfectly, and not because everything went perfectly. We expected medical bills. We had a year where the market bothered us a little bit, scarred us badly. Those were just bumps. But I wasn't white-knuckle for retirement because I'd done the inner work to understand that my enough looked like what I needed. And the bumps came. I had a framework to stand by and not worry about them. If you're standing where I stood, on the edge of this, wondering if you've done enough, I want to say this directly to you. The fact that you're asking the questions, that means you care. And people who care this much don't usually get it as wrong as they fear. You've probably done more than you actually think, or more than you know. The work isn't financial. It's learning to trust what you build. Now, if this hit homes for you, all I ask, just share it with someone who's in the same place as you, because this feeling is far more common than people admit, and nobody should feel alone in it. I mean, I'll leave you with the question I wish someone had asked me years ago. Not have you done enough, but do you know what enough actually means to you? Answer that question. Answer that one honestly, and everything else gets clearer. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day. God bless.